So guys, as I told you that I would be covering the topic of your default constructor. So now we should first try to understand what default constructor is all about, because I was not able to tell you guys about this particular default constructor in my last lecture, because a lot of things, if told onto one single lecture, they simply tend to become complicated, right? So why I also told that I have taken the name specifically Delhi over here. Why? Because I'm going to create its parent class over here, and now see the magic that goes on. Let's say parent class is India, the child class is Delhi, and that by logic is also good. I mean, that is clear that Delhi is the capital of India. Everybody knows that. Okay, I'll create a constructor over here. I'll create not a default constructor. I'll just create a constructor over here, which is, let's say, onto this particular way. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to write something over here like India is the leading world power. Let's say I've given this particular value over here, and now my this class is going to extend my parent class. Okay, this class extends the parent class. I hope till now I have made some sense, guys. Okay, so what if I remove it over here? What if I remove these things, right? And I run the code. What is happening over here? Are you guys able to understand what is happening over here? I just created an object of this particular class, and a default constructor got, a default constructor got called. So this is the power of constructor, and this was the question that was being asked. That too, not verbally, with the help of the code was given, and the guys were being asked this particular question. Okay, so you guys were not able to answer because you guys do not know what default constructor is all about. See, it simply looks like nothing code is written. I'm just creating an object, and by definition of constructor, which says that it executes automatically whenever an object of a class is created. So I'm creating an object of this class itself. I'm not creating an object of India. I'm creating an object of Delhi class. But still, guys, this is getting printed. Why it is being printed? Because a default constructor is being getting called. So the way default constructor looks like, it looks like somewhat like this. It looks somewhat like this. I'm just giving you an example, and this keyword is being written. So this keyword is being written, right? And this keyword will call the parent class constructor it's going to call, right? So this is the reason why, if nothing is being defined over here, it means that a default constructor is being getting called. If your current class is having a parent child relationship, okay, if I'm running this, then it is happening. If I remove this parent child relationship, please try to understand. I've taken a lot of time so that you guys are able to understand this concept. If now I run this code, nothing is getting printed over here. If again I do control Z and I print this particular code, it is going to print somewhere something value, because a default constructor is being called. And where is this constructor being called? This constructor is of this particular class, but there is a super keyword written, and super keyword basically means that it is going to call the parent class constructor. This is why when once the line of code, let's say, once the execution comes to this particular line, so what happens over here is that it goes back to this particular class constructor and calls this constructor over here, right? So this is the reason why it is getting printed. I hope you guys are able to understand. Uh, this is the logic behind that particular thing. And these are the questions that are being asked. So now nobody is going to ask you, give me the definition of constructor or how it works when you call a constructor. So this is the way questions are being asked. Why it is this getting printed, right? So if you do not know the working of a default constructor, no argument constructor, I've already given lecture onto my previous session, and your parameterized constructors. This is how these constructors are all about. And now we are going to go a little bit more deep dive. I'm going to do a little bit more deep dive for your automation testing interview questions, right? For your automation testing interview questions. Why? Because most of you guys are not able to answer these questions and you simply get rejected onto your client interview. I do not want this thing to happen. This is the reason why I am bringing this lecture to you guys. I had a lot of sessions to, in my pipeline to bring first for the Scrum, go for the Docker, but after seeing number of guys getting rejected, losing the job, I think you should guys know at least what Constructor is all about and how it works in an uh, automation framework. So I'm going to create a little bit small kind of framework over here. You are going to understand it is not going to take much time, but just try to understand a particular scenario I'm going to construct in front of you guys. So all of you who are localites of Delhi, let's say I am a particular customer. I am a customer and I want to buy or I want to rent a 2 to 3 BHK flat, right? I want a 2 to 3 BHK flat in Delhi, let's say. This is my requirement. This is my requirement. I want a 2 to 3 BHK flat in Delhi, right? So what I will do is that let's say there are multiple number of societies. Multiple number of societies. One is your Supertech, right? Another one is your Grand Ajnara, right? Let's say another one is your Mahagun. These are the some branded, that's why I'm taking their name because everybody knows the name of these societies. And let's say there is another, let's say eco village kind of stuff. So let's say these are the very very big societies in Delhi, right? And each of these societies are having 200 to 300 rented apartments or flats, like 2 to 3 BHK flats, right? So 200 flats over here, 200 flats over here, right? So if I am a customer and if I want to get a rented accommodation, I have to make connection with the broker of each and every society. I hope all those who have who are coming to big cities for getting a job and all those freshers kind of guys, you might have faced this kind of a situation, or you are going to buy a particular house. You guys might have seen that if you want to buy a particular area or you want to rent a particular area, you need to contact the broker of a particular society. Okay, you need to contact the broker B2 of this society so that you can get all the details or you can see the flats of this society. You need to contact broker B3 or broker B4 of all these big societies having 200 to 500 3 BHK flats. So you need to contact them. In your real world, you need to contact them. You will contact broker B1, he will call you, he will schedule a meeting, and then you will go and visit the flat. The same scenario goes over here, right? So I'm going to create a program with the help of which we are able to understand this scenario, and after at the end of the lecture everybody would be able to understand how constructor you have to make use onto your real life or onto your automation project so that you do not get rejected. Okay, so this is the scenario that I have shown. So let's say there is a particular society named as Supertech. Okay, this is a society, and uh, there is a method. Let's say public void get flat details of this society, and I'm printing something. Let's say flat 1101 shown to customer. So if you go to the broker of this society, he will show you the flat 1101. Let's say for an example, for this particular timing, again I'm going to create another society over here. The name of this society is let's say AGNARA. Again I'm going to copy this particular method. Let's say these are the flat details. Just try to imagine that these are your flat details for AGNARA, right? Flat 1201 shown to customer for AGNARA Ajnara, right? Again let flat details for Supertech. Let's say these are the two big societies, and these are the two flats which are available, which you can take for your rented accommodation: 1101 and let's say 11 and 1201 in Ajnara and in Supertech. I hope till now it is everything is clear, right? So now I am going to make use of constructor somewhere so that you're able to understand. So let's say if you are a if you are a customer, if you want to see this particular flat of this society, so what you will do? Either you will go and call this particular broker, if you want to see this particular flat, you will be going and calling this particular broker, right? But now, if you want to work in an automated environment, let's create something else. Normally, it is known as a test-based setup, kind of those who are familiar with an automation framework. But let's say I'm making use of my name over here. Let's say I'm the main broker for entire Delhi, right? Let's say Abhinav Delhi. I'm the biggest broker. Let's say, for an example. So what I am going to do is that I will be creating an object of myself. Abhinav Delhi. Let's say I am the main broker for an entire city. Delhi is a very big city, and Abhinav Delhi. Right? This is what I am doing over here. Very soon you guys will be able to understand what I'm trying to do. Public static void mean string args. I hate writing these steps, but what to do? So allow me to create an object over here. Guys, please pay a very big attention over onto these lines. Now I'm going to create a constructor over here, or let's say I'm going to create a constructor first over here. I'm going to do something over here, okay? And what I'm going to do over here is that I am going to make an object of these two classes over here. Now it becomes a bit tricky for you guys, like Supertech. Let's say Supertech broker equals new Supertech. Please try to understand, guys, what I'm doing over here, right? Again, I'm doing something very special. I'm creating Ajnara broker. I'm just creating an object of these, classes as per Java, right? But in real life, you are able to understand what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is that, okay, remove it over here. I just created an object over here of these two classes, right? So apart from this, let's make it a global variable. Okay, guys, please pay a very strict attention to what I'm doing. If not, you can rewatch my lectures a number of times, because these questions are being asked. Nobody is going to ask you, give me the definition of constructor. Okay, so let's say I've created an object of this particular class, right? Of these two classes, and I have created these objects inside constructor of this main broker. Is it making any sense? It means that whenever I'm going to call the main broker, this constructor will going to call immediately, which means whenever I'm going to make an object of this particular class, constructor is going to call itself immediately. It executes immediately if an object of a class is created. So if I'm going to create an object of this particular class, it is going to execute this constructor automatically. And why I'm wanting you know to execute them automatically, there is a particular reason behind that particular stuff. So Now I'm going to create a class, let's say showing flat to customers. Okay, let's say I've created a particular class, right? So now there is a customer, let's say customer, like the name of that customer is Rahul. Rahul wants to see a flat for Supertech and Ajnara as well at the same time, or let's say in an hour gap of 1 or 2 hour, so in order to go to each and every broker for each and every society and visit, with these brokers, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create an object of, let's say, of the main broker, Abhinav Delhi main broker equals new, right? I've created object of this particular main broker, right? And with the help of this main broker, I am going to access super tech broker, and this super tech broker, you know is now going to provide me some details of super tech flat details. Are you guys able to understand what I have done over here? Again I'm going to do that particular thing, right? With the help of main broker Abhinav, instead of going to Supertech broker, I'm just going to one person, Abhinav broker. He is going to call the Supertech broker, and he's asking the Supertech broker to show this customer, let's say Rahul, this particular flat. And if you run this particular code, it will show you that one flat 1101 shown to customer. In the same way, you that customer Rahul should ask me that Abhinav, show me you know the Ajnara flat, right? So I have called this Ajnara broker, and I have asked him to get all the flat details for Ajnara. And if I run it, it will show that flat 1201 has been shown to customer for Ajnara, right? So what I have done over here in the main class, now please try to understand. These are the two classes, right? So instead of writing and creating an object over here, see, we have hidden a new keyword, right? Of We are not going to create an object of like supertech s1 equals new supertech, right? So we are not writing all the code like this, and we are not calling it, right, supertech s1 dot get flat details, right? I'm not contacting this particular broker, I'm not contacting that particular guy, I'm just contacting one person, and this person has already initialized. Why this person is able to call everyone over here? Why? Because this person, Abhinav Delhi, in his constructor has initialized, has created an object over here. And by definition, whenever you call an object of this class, I have created an object of this class. Let's say if this is the object, or you can say reference variable. Ideally, this becomes your object, but let's say if this is your object that gets created, and every time an object is created, constructor executes automatically. So this constructor will get executed automatically, and over here in this constructor we have already initialized, we have created objects of these two classes. Okay, so when I create an object, I have defined it over here as a global variable. So with the object like Abhinav Delhi a1 equal to new Abhinav Delhi a1 dot supertech broker, I can call it, right? And thing this thing, since it is got initialized over here, with the help of that I am able to call this particular function, because object of this class got created in my constructor itself. That this is why I am able to call it. I hope you guys are able to understand. If not, please revisit my lecture 2 to 3 times. At the end you'll be able to understand. By this we are doing some sort of encapsulation. This page has this page, has this page, has this function, right? We are not creating an object in front of everyone. That customer Rahul is contacting me, and I'm just calling it like this. I'm not showing that particular thing, that I'm creating an object. And where I'm creating an object, I've created object over here itself, right? So I'm not going to show everyone that I'm going to create an object and then I will call. I will show to the customer that I have each and everything depending upon my will. I can show each and everything to any customer, right, whenever I want. But how I have done it, I have done it with the help of constructor. So this is the real power of constructor, which you guys need to understand. Please revisit my lecture. I'm again saying one or two times, you will be able to understand. I've created an object of this particular class, and with the help of this object of this class, I am calling these variables. And how I'm calling this particular variable, because this got initialized in the constructor itself, and this is a global variable. So a main broker dot this, and since this is an object got created, with the help of an object you can call a method as well. So I'm calling the method as well. So this is how it is working, and this was being asked. So you guys would be able to understand, what is the level of questions that are being asked nowadays. First one was default constructor that I showed you, and this is very important, right? So please try to understand it, and please try to um, watch it 2 to 3 times so that you're able to understand and clear your concept, right? So guys, thank you for your time, thank you for your patience, thanks a lot, and please stay safe.